Hey there, I'm Anthony Romano, and I gotta tell you in this video that you can get big body weight training, okay? I'm gonna explain exactly what you need to do when you're trying to get big through body weight training, but the main thing is that a lot of people are training indoors nowadays, especially with all the illness going around. So I'm gonna give you the tips you need to incorporate in order to actually get big at home. Alright, so for many of you who don't have a home gym, right? I've been posting stuff that I've been training at my home gym. I'm fortunate enough that I've built that up over the years because that's how I got started training. A lot of people are reserved to doing their, whack freaking Richard Simmons workouts at home, okay? I'm not telling you to do that.
Oh, and we got a lot to celebrate today. Hey, do you all want to get your pants off? Do you want to dance your pants off? Just clap your hands.
But I'm going to tell you exactly what you should incorporate in a home body weight training plan, okay? So it's not simply just, jumping up and down, running around your coffee table.
She spends 11 to 13 hours jogging every day in circles around her coffee table.
All right, what you actually want to do to get big when you're at home is you're going to need to prioritize a couple things, one of them being time under tension and progressive overload, right? The basic stuff everybody tells you about weight training. But I'm going to give you some key insights here and why you actually can use this to get bigger. So at the moment, some of my clients are unable to train at gyms, okay? And a lot of people tend to have, a weight or two around at home. But for most of my clients, I've basically had to adjust, what they're doing and give them something to kind of hold them over, a training plan in the meanwhile. And that's going to vary based on the person. But what I'll tell you here is the key elements you need to focus on for actually building mass when you're at home to use this time, because nobody knows how long, all this BS is going to go on with everybody staying indoors, okay? There's going to be a hilarious video to watch in a few years, in a lighthearted way. So the thing is, you can actually use this time to get bigger, to come out of all this isolation with more muscle mass. Because what you essentially want to do, let's say you pick, example, one of the things I've written in several of my client plans here is on the exercise list, it would say something like 200 push-ups spread out over, the duration of the workout. Okay, that would be one thing, for example, a push day type of exercise, right? And the thing is, nobody's going to be able to hit 200 push-ups in one set, but it's about the constant time under tension, right? This is why people are actually able to grow in the gym. And another detail that people discount is your body is significant enough to provide adequate stimulus for training. So when we're talking about somebody's bench press, right? Example, two of my guys, basically, their body weight is essentially what a lot of them can press. For a lot of people, bench pressing or other lifts, the way you assess whether or not it's a good lift is by how many times you're able to lift it in relation to your body weight. So if you weigh, 150 pounds and you can press that a couple times, beautiful, because now you essentially could use your entire body weight push-up style and then eventually assist yourself with raising your legs in some sort of manner like that. And now you basically have simulated the whole bench press and drop set sort of dynamic. But the reason why you can actually perhaps use this time to get even bigger than if you had access to the gym is because your central nervous system will get taxed from lifting heavy ass weight all the time. And a lot of times when especially if you haven't been training for longer than 10 years, what's going to happen is your body almost shuts off preemptively as a defense mechanism, right? Mentally, if you're lifting too heavy of weight, your body is going to kind of entice you to not be able to go your all out on a set, because what's going to happen is your body is basically trying to prevent you from injuring yourself. Now, lifting heavy on the other side of the coin can activate the central nervous system so that you can activate more muscle fibers, right? That's why a lot of people do reverse pyramid training. Another great reason why starting off with your body weight and then assisting yourself in some manner is very beneficial. But starting off with too much heavy weight all the time can be very taxing to the central nervous system. So even using a few weeks to train at home will allow you to still get the same amount of pump, but it won't actually put as much stress on your joints and on your mind, okay? Think about that for a second. All that really matters is the relative difficulty to your muscle, okay? So when we're talking about, a lot of guys who are into powerlifting, they objectively look at, oh yeah, I did this weight for a single, I did that weight for a double. when we're looking at the bodybuilding side of things, the actually putting on mass side of things, all that really matters is how much stress you put the muscle under, because what's going to happen is your lactate threshold in your muscle, so the amount of lactic acid your body can hold in that muscle, is what you want to increase. So the way you do that is by overloading the amount of lactic acid, okay? And then your muscle has to grow as a adaptive mechanism to withstand that much lactate. So, example, if you can hit 200 push-ups in a workout, that will probably flood your chest and your triceps and your arms and your shoulders with more lactic acid than, doing 3 sets of 12 with a certain weight. So, you will have to push the reps higher. You will have to add more intensity to your workout. But if you do that, you completely bypass all of the equipment you would need to have at a gym. Okay, this is why my first few years of training, I trained at home. I trained mostly body weight. I trained mostly with, light dumbbells as time went on, and I grew in my strength. So hopefully I've nailed the key point there. The key point there is you're going to have to increase the intensity, but you absolutely have the capability to grow, because all that really matters is the subjective amount of tension to your muscle. So when I say subjective, I mean even though you're not lifting 2 plates, right? If you lift your body weight and you're 200 pounds, okay, opposed to 225, and you do that, right, especially because your body weight's going to be assisted in some way, let's say that it ends up treating your chest as if you had just hit 185 on the bench, right? What I'm saying is, if you can hit that weight that is less than 2 plates, but you hit it for a larger amount of repetitions within a shorter period of time, you're maximizing the intensity and actually going to break down more muscle fibers and actually going to flood more lactic acid in your muscles. This is why in the golden era, pumping iron documentary type things, all people talk about is the pump, because the pump is really the only thing that matters in terms of growth. It's not the only thing that matters, but it's half of the coin. It's half of the picture. The other half is increasing your strength. But if you've been hitting the bench every week and trying to increase your strength and nothing's going up, essentially the way to get around that is by starting to take a step back and focus more on building up your weaker lifts, basically, your less central nervous system intensive lifts. So things with overall less resistance for higher repetition. So that is essentially the key there. And here's some other little details that I'm going to sprinkle in on top. The other details I want to hammer home here are when people are often training in gym settings and they don't start off with a foundation of, adequate bodyweight training. Actually, a lot of golden era ideals were that people should start off with bodyweight training rather than simply, going right into a gym, what everybody does nowadays. Because what happens is you're able to build up the stabilizer muscles in your body. So example, when you do a push-up, right, you're able to get the back of your shoulder better than if you just go and start, cranking out incline bench all the time. Okay, don't get me wrong, I love my incline bench. But if you can get your body used to supporting itself in a dynamic variety of positions, then you're going to basically set yourself up to have less injury, and you're going to work the little micro muscles in between all the compound exercises. So essentially you can be minimizing risk to getting injury in other ways, but it's also by building up the the strength in minor supportive areas, okay? So when you go to the gym and just crank out a bunch of bicep curls, yeah, they have more selection of weights there, but you're going to be able to build up more stability by hitting a complex bodyweight routine, okay? So there's other ideas and exercises I could give you here. Of course, pull-ups, push-ups, and dips are some of the best things that everybody has access to. So those are 3 amazing exercises you could start using, and you really don't need much to have access to that, okay? Pull-ups, yeah, a bar, not everybody has a bar, but some people do. I think they even make those little contraptions you can hang to your door. Don't really know how safe those are. But as far as dips go, you can find any sort of chair, right? Any sort of bench, and you can also do push-ups on basically anything. So that's a good spot to start from, okay? And even if you want to get funky with it, you can start doing things like handstand push-ups, etc. But that is the general gist of how you can actually use this time to get bigger when training at home. And even if you're watching this video in 2025, okay, if you're training at home, use these principles. Focus on time under tension, increase the intensity, and don't sweat it about the fact that you don't have, a bench with endless selections of weights here, okay? Use your body weight and focus on the intensity. That's why guys who are gymnasts, that's why people, when you watch the Olympics, the gymnasts are just jacked, okay? And you see these 5 foot tall women who just have biceps like pythons, okay? So that is it for this video. Hopefully these tips were insightful for you. Leave a like, subscribe, and go to my website for merch, for coaching, for plans, books, everything dropping soon. Okay, thank you. Anthony Romano. Peace.